Hello and welcome, I'm your code monkey. In this lecture we're going to learn about the params keyword that we can use in a function, which then allows us to call it with any number of parameters. Okay, so let's make a function to see it. So let's make a private static void. Let's call it print player name and receive a string for the player name. Then over here just a console.writeLine on the player name. So that's it, super simple, just a regular function like any other. And up here we can call it with code monkey. And if it does work, it does print, great. But now let's say that I want to support two player names. I want both of them. I want support for both one player name and two player names. So in order to do that, I need to copy paste this and make another one with player name and then player name 2. So yep, this works, but now I have two functions, one with one parameter and one with two parameters. And now let's say I want to support three parameters. So again, I need to make another function, duplicate a ton of code and so on. So right away you can see the issue. This is basically the problem that param solves. So for that, let's make just one function, and up here, let's call it with two parameters. And right now, yep, we have an error because this one can only take one parameter. So now here for the parameter, let's write the keyword params. We write params and then we write the type for the parameter. And in order to use it with params, this type needs to be an array. So let's make a string array, and for the player name array. And up here, let's just do a console.writeLine on this one .length, just to see how many we call. And right away, we can see we have no errors up here. So calling this function with two parameters does work. Let's run it. And up it prints out 2. And now let's call this function with just one parameter. And again, no errors. And yep, now it prints out with 1. Also, if we pass in with no parameters, and yep, we do have an empty array. So yep, that's it. Super simple. You can just add the params keyword, and that way now we support any number of parameters. This only has two requirements. The first one is that the type over here needs to be an array. For example, if you make string, it does not work. If we make it just string, then no, it does not work. If we make an array of multiple dimensions, this one also does not work. So it needs to be an array of some type. It can be string, it can be int, it can be pretty much anything. And the second requirement is that this one needs to come at the end. So afterwards, if we define an int age, nope, does not work. Here we have an error. And the error says here a params parameter must be the last parameter in a parameter list. So if we want to combine a params along with regular parameters, we need to make sure the regular ones come before and the params comes after. This way now, yep, up here we can type in an int and then any number of strings, and yep, all of this does work. That's it, really simple and sometimes quite useful. So anytime you have some function where you would like to receive any number of parameters, whenever that happens, always remember to use the params keyword.